Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open a case file from the SCP Foundation that is honestly just as bizarre as it is deeply tragic. We're going to dive straight into the clinical designation of an anomaly known simply as SCP-013. We'll be breaking down all the institutional data, the timeline of exposure, and the incredibly haunting story behind how it was discovered.
But before we get bogged down in the data, I want you to really think about something. What if a single puff of smoke permanently changed your reflection? And I'm not talking about a magic trick or a temporary trip. I mean a complete, irreversible rewiring of how you perceive yourself every time you look in the mirror. It's a hugely unsettling psychological concept, and as we're about to see, the reality of this particular anomaly is entirely, terrifyingly permanent.
Section 1. The Blue Lady Cigarettes.
Okay, to really wrap our heads around something this strange, we have to start by looking at it through the Foundation's detached clinical lens. SCP-013 is officially designated with an object class of safe. Now, if you know the Foundation, you know that safe definitely doesn't mean harmless. Actually, scratch that. It's more like it just means it's easily contained. You can lock this stuff in a secure storage vault over at Site-66, walk away, and it's not going to break out on its own. The danger isn't in an escaping. The danger is entirely about human consumption.
What's wild here is how completely mundane these objects actually are. SCP-013 is just a collective designation for exactly 242 cigarettes. They look totally ordinary, except for one very stark, highly specific detail that links every single one of them together. On every instance, the words Blue Lady are handwritten in blue ink. It's this strangely personal, almost intimate touch on a mass-produced item, which definitely hints at a singular creator, or at least a very specific intention behind why these were made.
So where are they now? Out of the 242 recovered cigarettes, the vast majority, 217 to be exact, are safely locked down at Biosite 66. The remaining 25 instances were transferred over to Research Sector 09 so they could look into similar anomalous effects. And the Foundation? They aren't taking any chances here. Any subjects exposed to the contents of these cigarettes are strictly monitored. We're talking daily interviews with every tiny difference in their symptoms or perception meticulously logged.
Section 2. A permanent perceptual shift. So we've got the clinical inventory out of the way. Let's shift gears to what actually happens when someone inhales the smoke from one of these things. Because this is where we cross from basic containment into some serious psychological body horror. When a subject inhales SCP-0113, they begin to perceive themselves as a specific, unidentified woman. It reads literally like a missing persons poster. The subject suddenly believes they're a woman between 25 and 35 years old, standing exactly 1.6 meters tall and weighing around 50 to 55 kilos. They see themselves with cropped dark hair, blue eyes, and bright blue lipstick. It literally doesn't matter who the subject was before, their age, their gender, their build. Their mind wholly replaces their self-image with this one highly specific set of features. And it's not like a light switch either. It's a slow burn. It's this terrifying, deliberate timeline. Immediately after inhalation, the anomaly takes root. Then, very gradually, subjects start noticing the shift in their reflections. They look in the mirror and literally see the features of this unknown woman bleeding into their own face. Over the following weeks, the hallucination just intensifies until it becomes a complete perceived body change. The anomaly slowly, methodically overtakes the subject's mind until they are 100% convinced that they are the Blue Lady. Here is the absolute kicker, though. The massive contrast between physical reality and mental reality. This is the ultimate terror of SCP-0113. The subject's outward physical body doesn't change at all. To everyone else in the room, you look exactly the same. But inside your mind, it's a total overwrite. And the most horrifying detail from all this Foundation research is that these mental alterations are entirely permanent. There is no going back. Once you smoke it, you are trapped in that altered perception forever. Section 3. The Irvine Rivers Discovery. So we know what the anomaly does, but how did the Foundation even find it? For that, we have to look at the pretty grim backstory of their discovery. The cigarettes were originally found packed inside a large cardboard crate in the apartment of a man named Irvine Rivers, but it wasn't just a simple storage situation. When investigators did a sweep of the apartment, they walked into a deeply disturbing scene. Rivers had drawn several hundred sketches of a figure that strongly resembled the exact same woman subjects perceive when they're under the effect of the anomaly. Hundreds of frantic, obsessive sketches, all just trying to capture this one face. Tragically, Irvine Rivers didn't survive his connection to whatever these things are. He was found dead, sitting right at his desk. The cause of death was a massive overdose. When authorities found him, his body was slumped over a handwritten note. So we really pivoted here, right? From a clinical overview of a weird anomaly to this profound, desperate personal tragedy of a guy who was just consumed by something he couldn't understand. Now, during that initial sweep of Rivers' apartment, a civilian investigator accidentally caught a dose of the anomaly. But this actually gives us a perfect look at the Foundation's swift containment procedures in action. Step 1, the civilian gets exposed. Step 2, a Foundation agent who's already embedded in the local police force immediately recognizes what's happening and flags a nearest site. Step 3, the Foundation swoops in, extracts the affected civilian, bags the artifact, grabs all the evidence, and locks the whole thing down before the public even knows what hit them. Section 4. Secure, contain, protect. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to bring our focus back to the haunting evidence left behind by Irvine Rivers. This is a direct excerpt from that suicide note he was found draped over. I see her everywhere, that sad blue lady. I feel like I should know her, but I can't remember. I love her, but I don't know why. Man, that is incredibly heavy. The immense sadness, the confusing memory loss, this completely unexplainable love for a hallucination that ultimately drove him to end his own life. And right at the very bottom of that handwritten note, totally separated from the rest of the text, were these 4 lowercase words. Where did you go? So, who was the blue lady? Was she a real person? Did Rivers create the cigarettes just to remember her? Or did the cigarettes somehow create the memory of her inside it? The Foundation document doesn't give us those answers. And perhaps that irreversible loss of reality is exactly what makes SCP-013 so completely terrifying. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Until next time, stay curious and stay focused.